Sky News US analyst Michael Ware is here to explain now. So there's a bit of a pause in proceedings for roughly a week and a half, isn't there, Michael? So as things stand, tariffs continue.
Yes, correct. As things stand, the tariffs exist across the world. And as President Trump has said, until July 9, he has 90 days to make 90 deals with 90 countries. Well, so far, we're yet to strike one. But look, these court decisions are a bloody nose for the Trump administration. Because first, last night, a federal court judge declared that his tariff policies are illegal because he's citing the National Emergencies Act to invoke these tariffs, and the judge says that these tariffs don't meet the standard of the act. Then the Trump administration appealed, and they got a federal court of appeal, to put a stay on the original decision until June 9, when both sides will make full arguments before the court, and then goodness knows how long until there's a decision, which of course will be appealed and ultimately may end up before the Supreme Court. Bottom line is that this process significantly erodes the Trump administration's negotiating position with everyone from the EU to China to Australia, because why would you cut a deal now if in a few weeks or months or at the end of the summer, his own courts are going to declare all these tariffs
Well, that's
illegal.
classic business, isn't it? Good point. Why would you do it?
That is. Well, and look, talking about classic business, the president got very upset this morning at a briefing because someone brought up on the stock market, on Wall Street right now, there's an acronym going around, TARCO. Trump always chickens out when it comes to the negotiations on tariffs or anything else. And the president hadn't heard it yet. He was most upset and attacked the journalist for such a nasty question.
Really?
But it shows you a reflection of where the markets are, because a lack of certainty leads to paralysis in the markets. And this is particularly hitting the mom and pop small businesses, because, an Amazon or a Walmart can plan for tariffs, no tariffs, absorb the costs, pass on the costs. A mum and dad small business, they need to start ordering stuff now. And do they order it now? And how much does it cost? And what's it going to cost later? So this really has struck at the very heart of the Trump administration's entire economic plan.
All right, now let's still Trump related, but let's bring in Elon Musk now. Well, presumably the two are still friends. They're just not in any kind of working relationship now after Elon's tenure as the head of DOGE. The government efficiency section he's left to go back to the private sector. Looking back at DOGE though, was it a success? What did it do? What did it find? Michael?
Well, it made a lot of noise. And without a shadow of a doubt, there would have to be waste or abuse still encased and deeply buried within the federal bureaucracy. We'd find the same in Australia or England or the EU. So he made a lot of noise about that. But he came in promising to be, just 3 months ago, the $2 trillion man. I'll cut $2 trillion off the US federal deficit. Then he said, I'll cut $1 trillion. And then he said, maybe I'll cut 150 billion. So meanwhile, more than 100,000 federal employees have either been axed or told that they're under threat. So some of the fundamental functions of government, particularly in red states that voted for Trump, are being compromised. At the same time, investors in Tesla have seen their price of their stocks nosedive. So they wrote a letter of protest and demanded he come back to Tesla for at least 40 hours a week. But perhaps most telling is that on Sunday, Elon Musk went on a Sunday political talk show and said that Trump's signature piece of legislation, what the president calls the big, beautiful bill, was, according to Elon Musk, disappointing. And rather than helping the economy, would add 2 to 3 trillion to the federal deficit. Surprise, surprise, the next day, Musk tweeted or X'd that he was leaving the federal government.
All right, we are out of time, Michael, but good to see you as always. We'll chat again soon.